Hi, welcome. In this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about domain name system, or DNS. This is in reference to the MCSE Guide to Managing a Microsoft Windows Server 2003 Network Enhanced book, and it covers chapter 7 in that book. This is actually a huge chapter, so I don't want to get too far into detail because I'm short on time, but I'll just give you a better understanding as to what DNS is. And one of the activities I'm going to be doing is configuring aging and scavenging. Basically what DNS is it's the most common method used to resolve host names to an IP address. It allows users to access resources on TCP IP networks such as the internet. Again, this is a huge chapter, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I mean, it does cover some things like DNS zones, primary and secondary zones. It's a good idea to refresh your memory if you don't know too much about the zones. Google is a great resource to test that out. DNS, name resolution, stuff like that. Stub zones. So basically what I'm going to do is give you an understanding as to what aging and scavenging is. Aging and scavenging of DNS records. That's basically a new feature within Windows Server 2003. And what happens is DNS records created by dynamic DNS can be removed after a certain period of time if they have not been updated. And this prevents outdated information from being stored in a zone, so that zone doesn't cluster up with really old records. And it also allows for more room, less network traffic. I mean, it keeps the network running really smoothly, and your server up and running pretty good too. So, for scavenging to occur, it must be enabled on the Advanced tab of the DNS server properties. Scavenging is actually disabled by default, but I'm going to show you how to enable that. Scavenging period option specifies how often scavenging is to be performed. And then the default is, I believe it's every 7 days. You can actually, after you configure scavenging at the server level, you can also configure the aging of DNS record zone. So that's some important stuff to remember there. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that here. So, and the programs I'm using for this video are Free Screen Recorder. I'm still having some sound issues, some sound glitches here and there, but it's a lot better than the problems I was having with Cam Studio. Either one of them are pretty good resources. And then the other program I'm going to be using is Windows Server 2003 on a program called VMware, which is a virtual environment that allows me to install operating systems without using up space on my hard drive. So we'll go ahead and get started. I've already logged into Server 2003 on VMware. And what we're going to do is we'll click Start, point to Administrative Tools, click DNS, right-click the server, and this is my server. Just has my first name. Go to Properties. I've already done this activity before, but I'll go ahead and do it again. Let's see. Click on the Advanced tab, and we'll click Enable Automatic Scavenging Stale Records. I believe it is. Yeah. And then we'll see. What this does is configures the server to look for old records and deletes that every 7 days, like I was talking about before, so it doesn't overload those zones. And we can double click on the server, double click forward lookup zones to expand it. Click domain x.classroom, where x is your student name. You might have a different domain if you've done the previous activities in this book or done activities like this in the past. Right-click domain xclassroom.com, go to Properties, click Aging on the General tab, click Scavenge Stale Records Resource, make sure this is checked, confirm that the no refresh interval is set to 7 days, which is, I've already done this. And then the refresh box, time between the earliest moment when a record timestamp can be refreshed and the earliest moment when record can be scavenged. You can change this to whatever you want. Change it to 21, but you can change that to whatever. Let's try 10. Click OK. And then click OK. And then if we set that to, I think I just set it to 10. They're now eligible to scavenge after the total of 10 plus 7, I think it is, or something like that. This is 28, but that's not right, I don't think. Eligible to be scavenged after the total of 28 days have passed without the records being updated or refreshed. And then we can close that. And that pretty much concludes my video. Again, a quick overview on this is basically it's basically what scavenging and aging does is it takes those old records out, the DNS records, and deletes them if they're not being used or you have no use for it, so that your server and your network can run smoothly. This concludes my video.